cheese boys, cheese girls, and the cheese gang. You are now listening to Popcorn and Cheese.
Popcorn and cheese, call boy like friends like
Dr. Smile went to
And
Constance.
then I went to, is his name Alex?
Alex, yes.
I'll tell you stories, invite me again. I'll tell
What is
How do you? That was my question. You know, Batin, shame on you if you fool me once. Shame on me if you fool me twice. I don't know.
Yeah,
shame
we've been
on
fooled
who.
so many times.
If you fool me for 30 years, I don't know. Shame on who? I went to a place called Gagamas. True story.
Which one is this one?
What's it? What do they call it in short?
I don't know what
It's
they
a
call it
sewage
in
town.
short, and I'm not.
If you want to say it fast, if you want to say it fast.
You have to say it fast. You can't say it slowly.
A Zurich sound.
I'm here reporting live, Kakamas. I was just saying.
But it's a beautiful place.
Robo Pops. I'll be my cheese girl and my cheese boy there. We motivate, then we laugh as well. Stay on brand, never hard to sell. Got real chats, now my LOL. So we both got gang and we blessed as hell. Siyadlala story. Petting on my guest, and nice and moy. You want my bundles, not of joy. Said it's some pop pops and robot boys.
popcorn and cheese.
Yeah?
Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese.
Which one is this one?
Popcorn and cheese. Call boy like friends like these. Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese. Popcorn and cheese.
This one.
You had one job.
One job. One.
Gosh, I know.
One.
One job.
One.
What up? You see, this is why we need to build one South Africa.
Yeah, we really. Okay, here
Take him back.
Here we go.
Nice.
It's a take. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we needed one clap.
What's the camera?
AYANDA, ALLIE.
What's the camera? Which one is this one?
Angle.
He looks like a-
won't be in the
He
He looks like a villain in a Tyler Perry movie. He won't hurt you, but it'll break your heart.
Looks like Bongani Fasi before Josie.
It's just
I was
bongan.
told you're the nice one.
Right?
I don't understand
am.
what's
So,
going on. You're supposed to be the good guy. You're
So,
supposed
let me
to
tell
know
you
what's
that.
going on.
So I am the nice guy. It's just that the clappers, man. That guy introduced himself. Which clapper introduced? Which one is this one? Makaya, popcorn and chips.
No. Now we're building one South Africa. Everybody matters. Even
Yes.
the clapper.
Yes.
Clapper,
We
ne?
will introduce the clapper.
Yes.
Please.
Let's do it.
Aich. That was our clapper, King Monada. Thank you, King, for that intro. What a beautiful man with a manicured beard. Lebitso la gae ke King, the clapper. He gave us more than one clap. Ra leboga, Ntate King. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Popcorn and Cheese. Before we introduce our phenomenal guest, I'm going to start by introducing the man behind the mic who recently found a Bafana Bafana t-shirt, back to supporting the team once again. Leboa Khomu's finest. Please put your digital hands together. Help us welcome the Ghostman boy, Tsitsi Chumeric, the Barbarian. All right, ladies and gentlemen, rocking the black and white like the pirate that he is, weighing in at 62 kilograms. Please put your digital hands together for a man who loves Lillian Dube so much that he has a picture of her and him on his t-shirt. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who's had a clientele life policy since matric. Please put your digital hands together. Make some noise. Give it up for the one, the only, Mzi Mbuli, Robot Boy.
Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are cruising nicely because we are being steered into the right direction. The direction that is onto my left is the leadership who steers the ship. Captain and president of the Yellow Bones, wearing black and white like the Orlando Pirates, but the shorts looking like he's sitting on the bench. Stand-up comedian who's always sitting down so that you don't undermine him, but that he's understood because he's also outstanding as the comedian. All-round entertainer, the one and only, Umpo Pops Morikwane.
You know, I was about to say you have the body shape of Andy Lempisand. Agree on the bench.
Besides, it's not on the bench.
He
Jordan.
plays himself.
Oh, yeah.
Notice how quiet I am. I do not want to incriminate myself.
Right?
So yes, to land
Right.
in South Africa,
Nah,
our
It's
land.
the other one that you have to worry about.
Which other one?
No, here on Popcorn and Cheese, we are fine.
Okay. Or the other one. Ngiyabona ukuthi niyangifaka enkingeni, ngingathi, okay, and I will not comment about the other one either, but I'm told this one is the good one, and you're supposed to be the good one as well. So I don't know why you're throwing
So,
bombs.
King under the bus.
yeah.
Saying he looks like Bobby Blanco. Why? Cheese boys, cheese girls, and the cheese gang. Ah, man. You are probably wondering who is this beautiful guest we have with us. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Cheese boys, cheese girls,
Right?
and the cheese gang.
Yeah.
Sitting with us in studio today, we have former news anchor.
Yes.
Hababua ka motho o ratang ditaba, ba bua ka yena.
Hey.
Kere, former spokesperson in the transport ministry.
Yes.
Kere, motho o tsebang gore how much taxi fare costs. Ke yena. Aich.
Come on.
Kumasha.
Wa bona ha ba re moving from strength to strength, growing, building.
Okay.
Not just two, but one.
Yes.
South Africa.
Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, iposa ya seposa.
Yeah.
Please put your digital hands together and give it up for activist, spokesperson, the one and only ALLIE.
Thank you. Ngizokuqasha imbongi yami. Ngihambe nawe nje wherever I go. I just release you before I speak.
Sing your praises before you speak.
I release you.
Release. Ngena bacheka.
Yo.
Build it.
DJ Sinche. Build it. Build it. Build it.
Build it.
Oh, man.
Bengiyaphi?
My lady, thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you.
Popcorn and Cheese. You know, we've got cheese boys and cheese girls who are watching right now. Thinking, hey, what happened? Hey.
No, that's why you're the guest, because you have to fix things.
Yeah, we are building one essay. And guess what? Wow.
Which one is this one?
Cheese boys, cheese girls, and the cheese gang. We're with the lovely lady AYANDA ALLIE. We got cheese boys and cheese girls who are watching right now. They are sitting there thinking, who is this beautiful woman? So please, could you look into the camera? Let us know who you are. Full name.
Yeah.
Like number plate.
As per ID.
Number.
Yes.
Yes.
I want a pack
Yes.
number.
Yeah. Full name and what it is that you do.
AYANDA ALLIE is a woman born and raised in Dobsonville in Soweto.
Right? So wait.
Proudly Dobsonville, ngasending ilizwi. Mawufika extension 3 you've gone too far.
Just
Kuma
here.
cheese lapho. Mina ngila kuma
Soweto.
Robin.
Yeah.
Very very proud to be from Dobsonville, Soweto. I think it's what made me who I am today. It's what gave me the convictions that I have. It's what gave me the tenacity to try new things. As Musolukshin, we're adventurous, we're resourceful, we knock on doors. If they don't open, we kick them down. So it's what gave me. No, I don't say we don't play games. We don't play games.
Zona
At
middlemen.
Dobsonville.
When you kick doors, it dopes. That's what
Ni slow today. Have mercy.
That's fine.
Have mercy. No, but yeah, so I think growing up there and then going to school, it's the same story, right? You go to school in Masababsini, uthatha taxi from Dobsonville to Roodepoort. All of a sudden, it's a whole new world. Mafia Ellen
Changes as you're
everything.
driving.
Man, I'm telling you, there's greenery, there are big houses,
Electric
cars,
fence.
Electric fence.
I used to think it was a washing line back in the day. I was like, why?
That could have been dangerous. So, I mean, you grow up with that dichotomy, right?
Yeah.
And then you straddle the two.
Askis and dichotomy. So we've got people from.
Where are they from?
Where are they from?
Okay, so today.
Where are they from?
Abanye abantwana bayayazi
I'm out
dichotomy.
now. Okay.
Where
Yeah,
are
the
they from?
only
it's
one.
fine.
Where are they
No,
from?
but you grew up with this duality.
Thank
Is
you.
that a bit better?
Yes.
And you have to make sense of it
Yeah.
growing up. Ukuthi kanti why elokishini kuso? Why emasababsini kuso? Kanti thina senzeni kuba nebudust so. You know what I found even fascinating? Even the birds elokishini are brown. I kid you not. No, guys. No, guys. Where have you seen
Even the
a
button
weaver, a yellow weaver, or like a blue canary or whatever, elokishini?
The dust.
They're brown. And that is because of the typography. It's because of the soil that's there. It's because of the environment that we live in. It's difficult for you to plant even trees and shrubs and like things that you can, fruit trees, etc. Because the soil there, is not rich. And we were banished there because of, separate development. We were just supposed to be living in this township to provide cheap labor so you can get to town and work for the system and the establishment. So you grow up, then you're like, Auntie, why tina kungena? Marimangi ya glosamenza gune. You know what I mean?
Yesterday we were flying and I saw it from the sky.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the townships, there's not even trees. Like from the sky, there's no trees. And then you look at like a suburb, there's trees, there's pools.
Come to Parktown,
there's all those things.
Exactly.
So do you think we are supposed to be proud of being from Soweto and all those places?
So here's what I think. I think you grow up in that environment and you then realize, okay, here, we were given an existence that's on a deficit. Singena we minus already. By the time you're born, there's already a minus because the system that's running there is already putting you on the back foot. But what Black people managed to do, which I think is something that's so incredible about us, our tenacity and our resourcefulness, we take what is given to us and we say, okay, we will take this thing and we will give it back to you with so much value and so much worth and so much purpose that there will be a whole market here for you. That you will, whatever you're selling and creating, you'll have to create something and sell it to us differently because you understand which Black people have got buying power as well, that they've also got a culture, that they've got a system. So we've taken what was meant to destroy us, ikasi, lokshini, and we've made it cool. We've made it aspirational. Yeah, we've made it something that you aspire to. Cornrows, music, we own it. Galagata, etc. We own it. And it will not defy us. It will not define us as well. We take it and we give it power and we use it for our own advantage. And we do that again and again, not just with where we're from.
With food items as well.
Exactly.
Like if you think about the stuff that we enjoy eating, bomogodu, scopo, if you trace it back, it would be the offcuts. Yeah. So Black people or slaves back in the day would get given the offcuts. Oh, we don't eat intestines, we don't eat scopo, we don't eat hoops. We would then take that food and prepare it the best way we can. To the point that those delicacies are the things that we enjoy now.
And where do you buy it now also? Woolworths.
Woolworths.
You go to Woolworths.
The whitest mukhodu you've ever seen.
I mean, it's mukhodu nonetheless.
Like they wash it with Omo.
But you see, what we're trying to say is that which I'm going to preach here. What the devil meant for evil, God was able to work out for our good, right? And so we're able to. I will take you there. Right, but and I think growing up that way, I also thought, okay, here there's something wrong. But you're a kid. I mean, you don't know how to put it in words. You don't have the vocabulary to say there is injustice, and you know what I mean. But it stays with you. So you become a journalist, and I mean, I was very drawn to your human interest stories. I wanted to know why are things the way they are, and how do we change them. And so with every single career choice that I made was always for me to get a deeper, better understanding of why things are they are, and the way they are at least. And number two, how do we fix it? So I think that's what brought me here.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Where did you go to school? Roodepoort. So Dopsy, you'd go to Roodepoort?
So I went to Constantia Kloof Primary.
Oh, excuse us.
Constantia.
Constantia Kloof Primary School.
Dr. Smile went to Constantia.
And then I went to, is his name Alex?
Alex, yes.
I'll tell you stories. Invite me again. I'll tell you.
Let's do those ones now.
You guys said you're not that show.
Alex Wangfagi gold tooth in metric.
So we can't talk about those things. You said you're not that show.
I thought it was good stories.
Yeah. It's story. No, you're not. Nothing but love for him. Nothing but love for him. In fact, we were at the same grade, Footy, as well. So I went to Constantia Primary, went to Westridge High for a year, went to Allen Glen High School, matriculated at Allen Glen.
Okay, and then varsity, you decided journalism is what
varsity, I did comms, I did journalism. I first did it as an escape because being sabi biology, sabi maths, I was just like, I just want a free ride. And Kaya Bati, you have to go to varsity because that's this is that type of house. Varsity because that's just what we do. And so you were like, let me close my eyes.
What journalism?
Journalism. What do you have to do? You have to communicate.
It was
I was like, I'm
Nila.
It was
with Nila.
So
Nila.
I'd assume
And
you're
I just
also
fell
good
in
at
love
that
with
stuff
it.
in school, like public speaking.
Yeah. Debating. I loved debating.
Yeah.
I loved public speaking. I loved drama. I remember we did in matric. I was deputy head girl in matric.
Right?
And
I
music.
just I had
you
to
had
throw it in
deputy.
there. Yeah, I was a deputy head girl.
Aye.
Yeah, just on control, guys. Because no, but
Noise
but no,
makers.
but basically we were very naughty, guys. So it's deputy head girl, but we put on a show, Moulin Rouge. And our teachers didn't find out until like the day of the last rehearsals. Go to some matric in director. Since Moulin Rouge. Have you know Moulin Rouge? It's about a woman of the night. Who then,
Who are operating.
who now falls in love and tries to change her ways. So the dances were quite risque. And the
outfits.
were like, but it was too late for mama. We were already there. But it was fun times. So music as well, loved singing. I featured in a couple of hip-hop tracks in high school, guys.
Naboba.
Name.
You... What?
I promise you. I don't know if you know KB from Ghetto Rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had an album in 2003 and I featured on one of those songs. I don't know why.
Were you like in the back, like, oi, oi?
I was like,
I kick it, I'll lick it, I'll rick it.
Hey.
You know.
So you also sees the needs to disease the is.
And let's get busy, y'all, with that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
And what you think about that?
about what?
I think that's how it was written in the song. It was supposed to be about what? But when the moment,
Yeah, when
what?
they did it, that's great.
No, I grew up on Boom Shaka, guys.
Yeah.
Alenda.
So I mean, I love that. Music,
it's about
drama,
time.
arts, all those
Yeah.
things.
Do you know what I
that's
like
cool.
about you so far? Nah? That you, what do you mean? Can't you? I can't, it's a process. This thing. I like the fact that you sound very relatable. Like everything you said is relatable.
She's so cool.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now we can start talking about like politics now. Because it's like you're talking to somebody, not like not
A figure.
Not a figure. You're talking to a person like who is a boom shaka.
You know, and people are gonna think we orchestrated this, but
Wait, you went to
let me
school,
tell
so
you,
the other figures didn't go to school.
Yeah, but there's many politicians who didn't go
So
to
what
school.
you're
You
saying,
can't ask them that.
what you're saying is exactly what I loved about Build One South Africa.
Yeah.
Like, and it's gonna sound like, oh, by scriptile.
Yeah.
Like when I got there, firstly I knew Musi because he also went to Allen Glen High School.
And
but,
he's Dobsonville.
And he's also Dobsonville.
Yeah.
But then I met Nobuntu, who's the deputy leader, and I met some of the candidates, and they are people. They're not like a politician who, and I always joke, and I say, politician, it's raining outside. They won't say it's raining. They'll say there's some condensation with a little bit of precipitation. And now we are seeing that this evaporation has led to the moisture. And now we are not. So, so you're then
That's
like, oh my
legit.
gosh, can you just say it's raining?
Like, yeah.
You know,
and out.
And so when you
That's
go,
so crazy
no, but
because
it's true.
we were at a function the one time and they would say to us, we're in a meeting with government officials and they said, okay, it's time for the remuneration of the stomach. And some of the guys were confused. I was like, they mean it's lunch.
No, the funniest one I heard, the funniest one I heard, but if they say you should keep quiet, but you must quarantine that idea, please, comrade. Quarantine that idea.
We're definitely keeping that one.
Yeah, we're keeping that one.
Keeping that one.
So, I mean, when
That's a hard line.
When I got to Build One South Africa, I saw ordinary people. I saw people who were running different initiatives in the community.
Yeah.
People who are like bossing it in academia, who are bossing it in like law, in health, in education, but had just decided, okay, I want in. You know, I want to also be part of this, government and leading the change. And so that's what really made me fall in love with it.
How accountable is your party, if you would say? Because I think, I don't know, I'm thinking like a lot of the issues right now is accountability in a lot of things. Like no one wants to take accountability from apartheid days to corrupted days.
I think we live in a country that suffers from
yeah,
accepting accountability. Yeah.
So how accountable is build one?
Extremely, because there are a number of layers that you go through in order for you to be selected as a candidate, first and foremost. So there's the easy one of getting 1,000 signatures from your community. So people have to vouch for you before you get a position, right?
Not 1,000 signatures.
Physical 1,000.
Yeah. Either signed or you get them online. So I was one of those, hi, I'm AYANDA. Please vote for me. I'll make your life a better place.
Yes.
I was like,
better place.
Hey, influencer for freedom.
you have to, you know?
Influential.
So you go there to Maki sign a pela chomi, pela kumbula dala mina nawe. You know what I mean?
And they buy 5 engine. So that's already 5.
Exactly. So if Maki says yes, then you already know. So you have to go to your community. People have to know you. People have to vouch for you. People have to prove that indeed she has been running a youth organization in Soweto. We see the work she does. We think she would be a credible candidate for us in parliament or in the provincial legislature. That's the first layer. Then you then go to the second layer where you now have to appear before a panel that interviews you. You can't be there on some AYANDA. Duh. No, you can't. You have to motivate. They'll ask you questions. You know, what do you plan to do? What do you understand your role is as a member of parliament? What would you do differently in this situation? If you were to go to the provincial legislature, what would you advocate for? You know, like questions, legit questions. You have to get security clearance. I had to go to a police station, check fingerprints, exactly. All of those layers, also part of that candidate recruitment process. So by the time someone is certified as a candidate of Build One South Africa, you've gone through all those checks and balances. And so if you are put in any leadership position, or you don't do what you promised the community that you would do when you were busy concussing, asking for votes, they have the power to recall you. But bona seke yaspina la in the middle there uhlanyiswa ngama blue lights sicela nimbuyiseni.
We are spin.
You know what I mean?
We are spin.
Okay, but there's the spinning of the zzz and then there's the...
Yeah, but I'm just directing that one elsewhere.
Spinning is a sport that's recognized by Mondo South Africa.
Oh, did I just
Since
walk into
2010.
something?
Yeah, no.
I spin.
Oh! Okay.
On a track.
Okay, on
On
a
a track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if yeah.
And you know we're neighbors. I get to Dobsonville, Zona and Meadowlands.
Maidlands.
Suka maphepha kusala makhadibhokisi.
Meadows.
What?
Maidlands.
Zona and Meadowlands. Suka maphepha kusala makhadibhokisi.
So
That's
that's
End of fire. You know the song End of fire?
No, there's a song.
There's a song Dofire. I'm from
And then
Dofire.
Tandis does the thingy, and then there's Kate Kabela as well.
I'm from a better place.
Called what?
Ayafika mo pina.
Whoa, a better.
Which one is this one?
Called what?
Lewa Kgomo Zone A. Kaslamakas. Yeah.
What song
Which one is this one?
Eh? Shit.
I had a feeling it was going to go to Shebe or King Malume.
Shebe doesn't mention Lubakhomo in any song.
He does a lot.
Is it? Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Zone A.
Wow.
Zone A, yeah. But before we get into Zone A business, which is a better place, I just want to ask, so who are the people that you have to be accountable to? Because you say you have to go stand in front of a panel. Who's that panel?
Okay, so now that's for the interviews, right? So
Yes.
during the interview, it's independent panels, as well as someone from within the organization who has then, the history of who they are, what they hope to achieve, and you then have to account to them. That's just for the interviews.
Yes.
Now, remember, when you then get elected as a candidate and you do get a seat in parliament, or you get a seat as a member of provincial legislature, or you continue with the groundwork on the ground, there is then a body within the organization that is able to hold you to account. Remember that that's where people would send their queries or questions too. So if you're upset with me because I was spinning illegally, not in a track recognized sport. So if I was guilty of that, then they would then report me to the body to say, this ethics committee, I want to bring AYANDA to your attention. This is what she's doing. She's not been able to fulfill her promise to us. Then she must face the consequences as per the rules and regulations of the organization. And then they will say, come AYANDA, here's a committee, here's a charge against you. What do you say? And then if you have been found to be wanting, you are removed. But also, again, the structures of the parliament as well as the provincial legislature would also hold you to account. But we also have our internal control measures as well as the community level have to have a way of saying she's not doing what she promised to do. Let her be recalled. And I think that's what we pride ourselves in. We're not going to be protected by a surname. She's got a famous surname, therefore she's untouchable in the party. You're not going to be...
The one that owns Sentin, you know that name?
Eish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amar, oh, your surname is also important, Ali. That's what we used to play.
Yeah, and then
Why does he go for
Ali.
Ali? Not Muhammad Ali.
and then
Okay,
Yasha
there's
food, yeah.
Why must you give me Ali?
You're gonna beat all the other parties.
Exactly. I mean, let's go for that. You know,
Okay.
fly like a butterfly,
Sting like a bee.
Yeah.
Rumble, young man,
I
rumble.
mean,
On that note, with you speaking about how if we are ganga in terms of spinning illegally or whatever, as an example, there's people that are accountable to you. What's the inverse of that? You being a part of a board that's watching over the right moves you do versus you being dependent on the people that are around you instead of you being able to make an independent decision. I don't know if that makes sense.
so you're asking about it as an independent candidate or wanting to fall under a particular formation? Like
Yeah, so
Bold Ones
being,
South Africa?
yeah, so let's say Popcorn and Cheese was a party.
Yeah. Ndingawina shame yazi bathong.
We could.
Nganivotela. Stop.
It's like I have a voice as an individual and I can make certain things happen versus being dependent on the platform and the boys to almost create the change. So the difference between that, like dependency and dependency syndrome.
So we have an interesting phenomenon this year in that we do have independents who are running, you know, on their own, saying vote for me as a person. And that's admirable and I think it's brave and I think it's so important and it's necessary. But I've always found that one's real power is within a collective because I have blind spots as an individual and I'm not able to see 360. But you may call me out in a position that I have and you say, Ayanda, you know, you've got subconscious bias when it comes to this. And I think it's because of where you grew up.
Oh,
You
that's
don't understand how much
Subconscious
challenges
bias?
with. Yeah, you know, you'll say you didn't grow up in a home, so you don't understand their challenges. You're understanding your context as a top symbol. So I'll come up with a policy and say, we're gonna do 1, 2, and 3. But I don't understand that.
We're gonna plant trees.
We're gonna plant trees. And then the people are like, we don't need no trees, we're good, you know. Give us some water, we'll be fine. So when you're in part of a collective, they're able to call you out even on your flaws and say, how do we make your idea even better? Okay, you want trees. How do we say, let's plant those trees in Mpumalanga so there's job creation in Mpumalanga? Then you transport them to Soweto to replant them. Oh, I don't know. But basically, when there is a group of people, all with different expertise, different life experiences, they make you better. So when you're standing, even if you've got a particular portfolio and you're the only one who's seen there, people don't understand that you are smart or you sound accomplished only because of the collective that refined your ideas and made you better. So I think for me, that's what I love about being part of a group and part of people. And that doesn't mean that sometimes you have a great idea that gets shut down and you really believe in it. That's the sucky part. Or you're like, I really think we should plant trees. And they're like, no. You're like,
Quarantine that idea.
Quarantine that idea.
And you're like, but I really feel like this, you know. But no matter how much
You've been waiting, my boy.
he's been waiting.
Quarantine that idea.
They start calling you that, hey? Plant.
Yeah.
So for me, then the adverse is true. You know, you may have like a great idea, but the collective, for whatever reason, doesn't believe in it, doesn't see it, and you try and convince them, etc. But Maseni Puma, you then have to try and work out the best solution for the people that you serve. And that's another thing that I love about Build One South Africa. It's not one of those situations where you say the party first, the party in. Build One South Africa is for the people. If you as Ayanda or Baiza and you're doing things that are contrary to what we believe in as a party, they will chuck you out. And that's an understanding we all have. Yes, Marla, it's about the people. I will not protect you just because of Vile Ellen Glen. You know what I mean? Just because in Tonasekasi, etc. And that's another thing I respected. When I'm being called to account, you must account. Okay, you're supposed to get signatures as you saw, so did you get those signatures? Then I must say, oh, yes, you know, Monday was rough, etc. But that for me is important because that's what we need to make this country work. We need, like you said, accountability, consequence management. If you break something, what happens now that it's broken? Don't just say take taxpayers' monies and fix it. Yeah, we fixed it, yes, but that's money that would have gone anyway. You broke it.
It broke under your watch.
So what are you going to do about it? Hi, sorry. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that's so important. The power of having people that you account to and having people that refine your ideas and having people that challenge you sometimes because you want to do a certain thing, but they don't see it that way. Now you have to motivate. It's like that even in South Africa. You'll bring a policy and then one section of the society will agree with it and another won't. So you must push and try and motivate and try and capture their hearts and minds to agree with you. So if you have that already within the party where you have to sort of convince each other, it will be easy for you to sell ideas to South Africa and get everybody's buy-in, or at least as much as possible.
You know, you're so passionate about what you
passionate.
speak about and where you are in your life right now, right? And it's admirable and it's so beautiful. I want to know when the transition happened, right? Because you chose journalism because you wanted something easy to do, something you could like have a good time doing. You go into journalism, right? And you did very well in journalism. And then you transitioned into politics.
Yeah.
How did that transition happen? Was it a story that captured you that made you go, I need to be doing more? When did that transition from journalism to politics happen?
I think it sort of overlapped. Ne? And one thing really did lead to another. And I was telling a friend of mine this, I feel like everything I've ever done in my life has brought me to this point. Absolutely everything. From growing up where I grew up to going to school where I went, and then going into journalism. And then when you go into journalism, I mean, I had the pleasure of working for big brands in media like your Morning Lives, where you literally get sent everywhere. I went to a place called Kakamas. True story.
Which one is this one? What do they call it in short?
I don't know what
It's
they
a
call it in
Zurich town.
short. And I'm not
Like, if you want to say it fast,
You have to say it fast. You can't say it slowly. Kakamas.
A Zurich sound.
I'm here reporting live, Kakamas. I was just saying.
but it's a beautiful place.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Where
In
is
the
it?
Northern Cape.
Of course.
And they have vineyards there. They have such a beautiful culture that's there. And that's a place I would have never seen because Nyazeni itopsenville, right? So what happens with journalism and broadcasting is you get to travel
and experience.
You get to experience. You get to see. You get to speak to people.
Yeah.
Your worldview broadens. What you thought you knew, you realize you don't know.
Just a fraction.
Nothing. It's a fraction of what's out there. But not only is it the horizontal experience that you have with the people, it's also the vertical experience that you have because then you speak to people on different levels.
Yeah.
You speak to people on different LSMs, different portfolios. You'll be speaking to, I remember on the Monday I'd be at a taxi rank in Noord. And then on the Thursday, I'm sitting down with Jacob Zuma, you know. And then on next week, Tuesday, you're sitting with a CEO, you know. And then the following week, you're speaking to a mother whose child was sexually abused by her partner. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's those dynamics that really make you question, make you think. And depending on the kind of personality that you have, it can either make you hard so you can do your job. And there are some journalists who've had to toughen up because if you deal with the stories they deal with every day, you will break.
Yes.
You will break.
Yeah.
That emotional toll.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or the opposite is true. If you're an empath, if you're someone like me, you become even softer. It like breaks you to the point where you're like, but we must do something. You must do something. So I go back to school. I study again. I had done my first degree in communication science. I did the next one in community development. Then from there, I was like, okay, let's do a bit more. Development studies, honors. Then from there, I was like, okay, I feel like we're fixing the symptoms. You know, I had already started Bukobami Youth Center, doing great work with the team on the ground. But I feel like we're dealing with the fruits and not the root of the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not going upstream to fix it at source.
Yeah.
That we're only dealing with the manifestation, the problems that we see here. So I want to go there, and find out what are we not getting right? Is it the policies? Or is it true ukuthi vele abantu abamnyama siyamosha and that's why what is it? That's why I went into government and I had my stint in transport for 2 years. So I want to learn about policy formulation. I want to know what it's like to go into parliament. I want to know what it takes to govern and to be in governance. And I did that for 2 years, learned a lot. Sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly.
That's what I want to talk about.
I was like, peace.
Juices.
Yeah,
So what were you
happened?
doing?
Going.
Yeah, what were you doing and what happened during your time there?
So, Department of Transport is a huge department, guys. I mean, when I went into it, I was like, "Ay, baba, I'm on a taxi. How hard can it be? You know? How hard can it be?
You
We
must
just
have.
go there. We're like, hi guys, I'm one of you. Let's make peace. You know what I mean?
Let's make
But
peace.
you go there. I promise you. You go there and you find, okay, first it's split in four. Né? There's road, there's rail, there's aviation, there's maritime.
Yeah.
né?
Yeah.
Then within each sector, there's a subsector, right? So you have in road, for example, there's the e-tolls.
Yes.
Then you have taxis. Then you have the buses. Then you have the e-hailing, Uber, Then you have the rest of us motorists wilding as well, okay? Then you go to aviation, right? Space,
Airline,
exactly.
the airline, private airline,
Exactly.
cargo ones. Yeah.
You've got AXA, etc.
Yeah,
And then you
the
go into
brooms.
maritime, which, by the way, we need to start getting into in terms of the blue economy as a people. It is lily white, you know, and the cost of getting in there are exorbitant, similar to aviation as well. So there's that. And then you go to rail, which is a wow as well. You know, you look at PRASA. And then you've got different entities within this sector. It is massive, right? So the first thing that you do is to learn what it all is and how they're all interconnected and how do you bring integrated public transport and all those things. So you learn. The first few months, if not the year, is really just learning. You're just learning. And then there's the different stakeholders. Different people want different things out of this department. It is important. And along the way, you sort of get an understanding of how things are, but also how they could be. Like, this is how they could be. We really
better,
can.
see the good.
Yeah, we really can have a bullet train. We really can. We've got Gautrain. We really can have a working railway system. We really can. It doesn't have to be this way. Now, the question is, how do you bridge where we are to where we're going, you know? And then you have ideas also as an individual, you know, just as a person. I think maybe we should. But then there's a political structure that is there as well, that also has their own policies, that also want to do things a particular way, that hire people, you know, for the reasons that they hire them, etc. And then at some point, your values will clash with what you see around you. And you have to start asking yourself the question, am I now part of the problem or am I bringing solutions? And the moment you find I'm part of the problem, you then have to ask yourself questions, or what do I do to fix it?
So were you part of the problem back then? I want you to answer that yes or no, because what I want to ask is that the fear that is instilled in us, obviously because you've seen it firsthand when you're inside the beast, is it real? Because some of us, like laymen and on the ground, you can't tell. Whatever the news tells you is the thing to worry about. You worry about that, right? But the one thing that's real, and it seems like nobody is talking about it explicitly, is something like corruption. You know, people will tell you, hey, there's corruption there. This was built on corruption and all that stuff. But nobody who's important enough speaks about it loudly enough for people to understand what we're actually fearing. We're just scared of everything. Like, we're scared of the elections. We're scared of the elections, but you don't know why. You're just living in this constant state of, you know, national anxiety. And I just want to know from somebody who knows a little bit more than the layman, is it real?
Yeah, I think for me, what's important to add is that I was in the communication department. So I didn't even know where the tender box is. And I wasn't even there when they're having negotiations on who gets what and how the spoils are divided. What I can tell you is about the prevalent culture with which I had a problem. So the prevalent culture that says you go into a position in order to amass wealth. And I always use this as an example. When I got in because I was headhunted by an advisor who said, I see the work that you're doing. I see how you communicate. We think you would be an asset. Are you interested? I said, definitely. This is something that I've been trying to do myself.
And it
I'd love
aligns
to-
with what
it
I want,
aligns
yeah.
with where I'm trying to go. And then I go there and I find great team. I loved my colleagues there, both in the department and in the ministry. But there was all of a sudden an anonymous letter that surfaced that was from a group of what we thought were disgruntled comrades who took exception to the fact of nimkasha kanjani this girl when she's never done a door-to-door. Nimkasha kanjani this girl when she doesn't even know what a BGM is.
What is
How
a
do you?
BGM?
That was my question. That was my question. Look, when that thing came out, first, I mean, first you're shocked. First you're like shocked. Because first, I'm a nice person. Why would anybody want to write angry things about me, you know?
I'm doing my
Then
job,
you
I'm
look,
learning.
I'm like, guys, and I've got my qualifications, etc.
Right.
But I didn't know what a BGM was. But I also didn't want to say I don't know what a BGM was because it would prove that right.
So you were there going,
So I was like,
I'm busy with my BGM. I have 2 years left.
So precisely because I thought a BGM was maybe just some sort of qualification or it was some accreditation that you needed as a spokesperson. I humbled myself at some point and I went to the DJ. I was like, okay, fine. Somebody just tell me what this freaking BGM is because now I'm like, and then he's like, no, it's a branch general meeting of the ANC. I was like,
A branch general meeting.
why in the world do I need to have gone to a BGM to do my job as a spokesperson? I mean, and that for me really encapsulates what is wrong with this beautiful movement. And I call it a beautiful movement because we all grew up looking at the African National Congress of Luthuli, looking at the ANC of Tambo, looking at the ANC of Sisulu, and being on some I am moved. All the songs that they sing, all of that. I was among those who would I would take kids, every year without fail to Lily's Leaf Farm to show them this is the stuff we're made of. I would take them to Durban all the time. Chief Luthuli's house was there as a monument to show them this is the blood that runs through our veins. And then to have years later being questioned about whether or not I can do my job of serving the country because I've not gone to a meeting where they choose who's on this late or who don't. I don't know what happens there.
Or you haven't done door to door.
Yeah. And that said to me, we're breeding a different kind of cadre. Not one often anymore or often conscious, not one who's saying, how do we give? How do we serve? We may be breeding one who's standing in line saying, when is it my turn to eat?
Sure.
Or who may be standing in line saying, I'm doing this door to door, not because I genuinely want to help Gogo, but because it will get me to the position of spokesperson.
And help my pocket.
Help my pocket, And I don't know, maybe I'm speaking from a position of privilege. And if so, please do call me out on that, right? But for me, I thought the questions you should be asking me is, do you care about the people that you'll be interacting with? Are you humble enough to sit nabantu abathengisayo la emakhoneni to find out from them what do they need from the Q marshals, etc. Are you willing
to die to yourself?
In service of the people? I thought that should be what you're asking me. If any letter should be written, it should be that, And so for me, that's the one thing that I took out of the experience there. That yes, government is huge. It's difficult to be the incumbent. It's hard to turn things around. But with the right culture and the right attitude and the right people in the right positions, you can turn this thing around. And if I continuously am put in a position where I can see, which this thing's not going to get fixed now, but I must go on TV and say, we're going to fix this thing in 6 months. Don't worry, you'll be riding that train.
Not only are you lying to us, you're lying to yourself.
I'm lying to myself. Because many times when I say those things, it's not because I thought I was lying. I believed it. I honestly, genuinely, truly believed we would solve the e-tolls within 6 months. So when I'm saying to a journalist, don't worry, this time February, this thing will be solved. It was not because I was lying.
It's
I
information,
believed it.
yeah.
It was information I had at my disposal and that I genuinely believed and maybe willed it to be, you know? And so when you now see, man's down the line, shucks, I told that girl February, it's February now, it's not happening. You give another deadline, that's not happening. You tell people we're going to fix the train, that's not happening. You are
Now
the
you're
one
like,
who's fielding the calls from angry people, from people who are hurt, who are frustrated. I mean, there was a lady in the Western Cape who used to call me religiously. Send me videos. They're stealing the cable. And then I'd say, Mom, I'll send these things to the right officials or authorities, but like, I don't know what else to do.
And as the spokesperson,
as I'm the
there's only so
spokesperson,
much you can do.
And then at some point you're like, and of course it was incremental, a lot of things. Personally, you're traveling a lot, etc. But when everything comes together and you ask yourself, is it all worth it?
And am I doing what I said?
Doing what I said.
Yes.
What I started.
From a train's point of view, and you know, you can choose to answer this however you want. It's just a circulating rumor. I just want to get your thoughts as someone who might have been close to the transport sector. There's obviously a rumor going around that the trains in our country were sabotaged deliberately to give way to people making money from trucking, from the trucking industry. Do you know if that's the case? Because we have the railroad infrastructure, and rail does wonders for moving goods. It would add less pressure to our roads. There's so much that we can achieve with rail if our rail was right. Was it deliberately sabotaged or did it just wither by itself?
So okay, let me gather my thoughts because I love the question that you've asked because there's so many different ways of answering it. There's a difference between freight rail and passenger rail.
Yeah.
Freight rail was not a competency of Department of Transport, but they are so intertwined. That is a conversation in and of itself, why it is that they're separate and not together, because they basically share the tracks many of the times, right? So there's that thing that we need to be mindful of. There's that factor that's there. But then there's also, when you look at passenger rail, right, which is what we were responsible to, which I think in answering that will also speak to freight. When looking at passenger rail, the dilapidation and vandalism and theft of rail infrastructure did not start with COVID, because a lot of people are saying, oh no, things fell apart because of COVID. No. It started prior to COVID, right? It grew in intensity by the time we got into office, 2019. I think one of the first things that we did was have to close Central Line and I think the Mabopane line as well, because it was just inoperable, right?
And such busy
overhead,
lines.
Exactly. Overhead cables, the actual rail reserve, the per way, the actual, exactly. So even the bricks, guys, the bricks station, air pavement. There were, yes. And there were times you'd walk into a community and find, but you sign here. As a window.
They use the rail as a heater.
Yes.
The part of the rail that they cut out, they'd connect it to something, and then it would be a heater. You'd see it in an informal settlement, like they'll use that part of the rail as a heater
To heat up the...
I mean, we'd have people living on the actual rail reserve in the Western Cape, like like shacks also, like staying right there. Like that's how bad the rail sector was. I then decided, as part of that fascination that I had, I want to know what happened, like what was the problem. I started my master's 2019 or 2020 while I was at the department. And my research topic was the dilapidation of rail, because I too wanted to know what happened. What happened. And I looked into the causes of the theft and vandalism in the rail infrastructure. I interviewed experts in the field. Some were in PRASA, others were around PRASA, others were in different sectors, but connected to rail. And there were a number of questions we asked. Number one, that's the first question. Are there saboteurs that benefit economically from an inoperable rail reserve? Now, that could be in the transport sector. Is it the taxi industry? But is it the trucking industry? Is it the bus industry? Right? And there are those who did say yes and answered in the affirmative and said they have proof and they are willing to give that proof. It was outside of my scope, and that's why one of my findings was there needs to be an investigation to look into whether or not there's merit. The other one, very hectic. The other one was then the question about is it just incompetence? Is it just incompetence? PRASA was a new organization that split away from Transnet, and then it started. Did we not have the right kind of engineers that were there? Remember, there was Tim Kulu who was found to not be an engineer, but he said he was an engineer. Was it a case of that? Was it a deliberate attempt to say, let's let everything fall apart so that there can be a tender,
To
one
fix it,
great tender to fix, to rebuild, and fix it? So I looked at about 4 or 5 different things. What is the reason for this? And it was not conclusive to say, here's one
thing.
reason.
It was
And
a
therefore,
collective
and therefore my recommendation was there needs to be a broader study into this. One of the other things that I did find was that there's gross underspending of capital infrastructure that is there. So for a budget, at least. So Treasury gives PRASA a whole lot of money, fix this thing. PRASA sends money back, because they can't fix it. And I wanted to know, why are we not spending the capital infrastructure budget?
So money would be sent back.
Money had to be taken away from PRASA because they were not able to spend it. Capital infrastructure budget, the CAPEX budget. And that was the second study. No, it was insane.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. So I wanted to know. It doesn't make sense. And so now what I'm happy about, and I'm happy to give credit where it's due. I'm not one of those politicians who are not going to agree with somebody because they're from a different political party. So the president has made an announcement that he is going to allow the Special Investigating Unit to look into what's happening at PRASA. And this was shortly after I had an interview and said, this is what, I'm not saying it was related, I'm just saying after I had said.
Until you.
I had been
What's your mean?
No, but and then it happened, and I was happy, and I had actually put out a video to say, please increase the scope to look into the causes of theft and vandalism, and then also look into why there's underspending. And I'm happy to say, and I reached out to SIU's spokesperson, Kaiser Khanyago, and he asked me to send him a letter, and I sent him the letter to say, here's what my smallangana little research found. Please, can you investigate proper? And so for me, I really hope that they'll be able to do so. I have faith in the SIU. I hope they'll be able to do the research, and we'll finally get those answers.
Thank you for speaking out, because look what happened. The wheels of justice started turning.
The wheels started turning. I see what you did there. Because now we're on track.
We're on track.
Because it's like it's like we have this dependency legacy. And you spoke about it in an interview that I was watching. To have this dependency train, like for lack of a better word, how do we break that and really just come out of it as individuals? Because I feel like that's the only way we can survive at the moment, because there's no, you saying build one South Africa, because there's no one South Africa. There's a lot of South Africas at the moment. So it's like we have to break this chain of dependence, because our parents were dependent on this idea of surnames and people who fought for them, which is great. But I always say, like, struggle heroes, it's not a name I like, because you can't struggle so much, you're a hero. You kind of need therapy, I think.
Let him cook.
I feel like, excuse me?
He's a Nas.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those heroes need therapy, and I feel like their therapy is now the stealing, and we don't realize that's what's happening, and we are fighting anger with the actual problem. I think
root.
The root of the problem is a issue, like the
trauma response.
You understand? So how do we break out of this dependency? And we need to be honest about it. What is the dependency? How do we break out of it? What are the steps? And how is Build One South Africa going to help us to break out of that and really become individuals? Because I just want to be Titi. I don't want to be a black boy, all the time.
Or a clever black.
Or a clever black, or this black, or a
350 grand.
All I want to be is a cheese boy all my life.
Okay. I think what you said is so profound, and it's so important that we're mindful of what you're saying. No one is coming to save us.
Mm-hmm.
No one is coming. When we say build one South Africa, we cannot do any building without you. And it is wrong for a political party to place itself as the alpha and omega on anything and say, we will, without saying, together, let us.
Yes.
Let us. Because any development that happens without the consent and the active participation from people bottom up is not sustainable.
Sure.
Anytime you put a yellow tape or whatever, or a red tape, we are building a building. If you haven't consulted them,
Yeah.
they will be the first one to come to Luru. Yes, we can see you're building a road here,
Mara.
but you've not come to talk to us. You've not right? So that's the first thing that is so important, that we cannot do anything, but nothing for me without me. And anything you do for me without me, you do against me. Because you have not included me in the process. So the first step towards really having an empowered citizen, which is what all political parties should be striving for, is to make sure that you inform them, you equip them with the information that knows, so they know themselves, I'm the one who is participating with this government. They're doing nothing for me.
Yeah.
We're doing something together. Which brings me to the social grants.
The real dependency.
I spoke about the issue of social grants, and people came for me, yeah?
Uteni.
They came for me. I
Uteni.
said social grants is not economic development. It's not economic empowerment. Social grants must be used as a means to an end, with the end being someone who's able to find gainful employment. Either from it or from a party, or a company, etc. So when you give social grants, and of course, I'm excluding the social grants for foster homes, and I'm excluding the ones for the elderly, and I'm excluding for ones for persons with disabilities, because we understand that they need to be assisted. I'm speaking to grants that go to able-bodied South Africans who are old enough to have employment, but do not have employment because the system has failed them. There are no jobs to give them. Therefore, they must be given this relief, year 350, because they are suffering from the consequences of what the powers that be had created. So we then have a COVID environment and people need a 350. I'm the first one to tell you, with a 350, they've helped. I'm from a lokshine. I get umuntu in this room who benefit from 350. I'm telling you now for free. We all know somebody who's benefiting from that 350. And my argument is not take away the 350s. No. My argument is do not create a system where the 350s are the be-all and end-all. Because you fail those people when you do that. What we have now is a situation where in that account, like ngena khona 350, if AYANDA decides ukuthi ngibheje cousin yami ngimfakele 1,000, etc., do you know it's flagged as extra income? You're not allowed to get a certain amount of money in that account. You're not allowed to. So let me start my own little business where I do people's hair, or I do nails, or I wash techies, etc. Then you fund my account. You're not. All of a sudden you're economically active. You don't deserve that 350. So what people do to make sure that they hold on, it's insane. It's insane. It's insane. So people say, no, they'll flag it and then they'll stop giving me a 350. That's inhumane.
As if right when you're still building and being empowered.
And how are you going to live on 350? Why would you want to say to people, there must be no money that comes in here because now it means you are working,
so right.
So what they do to protect and preserve this 350, let's not get any other money coming in, etc. Because see, I need a 350, and they do. Right? That's the first issue that I have a problem with. The fact that you don't want these people to become economically active and start generating income. At least say 6 months, if there's a regular income.
Just like how
working,
you would get a 3-month statement to prove something.
To prove, okay, no, in 6 months, okay, So, cool. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
The second one that I have an issue with is then when you parade these 350s as an accomplishment. Head of state is speaking to some people in the crowd. It sounded like a lot of Omama Beto. And you know the burden of responsibility is unequally lopsided towards the women, black women in particular. Then the president, Utim, niyawatanda lama 350. Abo mama, yes, siyawatanda. Oh, besithi sizowathatha sibona ngathi aniwafuna. Ningawathathi siyawatanda. Hey, nizoba nesona.
That behavior.
Hey. It was giving...
Animal farm.
Oh, it was giving who's your daddy? It was giving nyanizama. Nyanzama.
Fanele ngabe niyangibona.
Fanele niyangibona. Guys, lama 350 avela ku taxpayers. And even the same mamas who are saying, yes, we need the 350, mabatenga impupu or whatever, that value-added tax is contributing to it's their money.
Big too.
It's their money. How can you dangle it as a carrot when it's them and there are children who are working and the tax of their children who are working who are contributing? But you are using this thing as a scare tactic to say, if you don't behave, so it's at 350. If you don't vote the way Sifuna vote, so it's at 350. That's the second thing that I have a problem with when it comes to that. Then the last one for me is we're not solving for. So you're giving me this money that you're giving me, great. But is there a way of pela nomsebenzi? Like it's like saying now, are we raising a generation?
It was meant to be for a limited amount of time.
Are we raising a generation that has to apply lama RTP house, guys?
I suffered from that too. I have a family member, that was living off the 350, and I don't know. I think it stopped for certain people and didn't stop for certain other people. But after that, they haven't been able to really, get back into it. And
And
Which one is this one?
no, I was telling him, he knows. Yeah.
Oh, so when he watches this,
He'll know that I'm talking about that.
At least he's got data.
No. It's my Wi-Fi.
wrong for that.
The person Sitsi speaking to Reblela Kawena as you're watching this from our private location here at Podcast Streaming Studios. Streaming Studios, where studios should be.
Also Zomland.
So and I'm not saying that in a negative way, in a negative sense. I'm just very confrontational. So what is because for me, when I saw that and then I heard you talk about, come on, that lady, Tintswalo.
So I was like, I think, wait, let's also just give people context of who Tintswalo is and then finish your question.
So, okay, we will give context of what Tintswalo is, but I want to know, what do you think is the reality or your version of Tintswalo? A new one, maybe let's say Tinyiko, the one that's born in this new era. What is the reality of that person? Where are they going to work? Where are their opportunities? How are they going to sustain any of this stuff based on if Tintswalo was new now?
So let me. This is a two-parted question from City, right? I think the first part is we have cheese boys and cheese girls out there who might not know Tintswalo. Just like how you also didn't know what BGM was, but you carried on like you knew what BGM was. Until one day you were like...
BGM yesterday. It was so good.
So, who's Tintswalo? Hey, we need to build one studio.
You must build a studio, guys.
So,
quarantine that idea, son.
So, who's Tintswalo? Have we lived up to the expectations of Tintswalo in the past however many years that Tintswalo has been alive? And now going forward, because you raised a very valuable point where you said, are we raising a generation of RTP people again? So who's Tiniko? Because this is saying the new Tintswalo is Tiniko. If Tiniko's born now, what does the future look like for Tiniko?
Yeah.
So Tintswalo is a fictional character that the president conjured up during the State of the Nation address to embody all the gains of democracy. This is someone who goes to a fee-free school, who eats at school, who lives in an RDP house, who gets a grant, whose parents are being assisted to raise her, and everything is fine and well. Mm-hmm. And I took exception to that because the story is incomplete. Chimamanda Adichie Ngozi speaks about the danger of a single story. That if you look at things from one side of the coin, then it looks perfect. But the other side will show that there are gaping wounds and there are gaping holes to the story. So anybody who's going to say the ANC has done nothing in 30 years is lying, guys. Let's be honest. No, let's be honest. No, it's not true.
It's not true.
Right? It's not true. For me, I mean, something that's very close to my heart because of the kind of work that I do, the eradication of mother-to-child transmission, or at least the reduction thereof, I think that was under President Jacob Zuma, ARVs, etc., all those kind of things. Yes, RDP houses, NAFSAs, all those things are there. It's true. It's a reality. It's not a lie. but it's incomplete. And it's incomplete because there are struggles even within there. There are people who can tell you they've been waiting for RDP houses for years and have even died, or no relatives who've died waiting because there are people who made it onto the system. You've had to pay so and so and so and so. That's something that's important. The same RDP house, and I don't want to repeat what I said in the State of the Nation address, but the same RDP house, there's nothing to divide to say this is the bedroom mama, lay bedroom yabantwana. So
it's like a shell, empty shell.
It's a shell. Then you must see to finish when what you're gonna do. But there's AYANDA who received the tender, who could have made this a decent 4-roomed house, but she didn't because I got my weave and whatever to look after, right? And comrades protect me because they're going to still give me a tender. Even after I built shoddy houses that are falling apart.
Sure.
The reality of how kids, they go to school, yes, and they're supposed to be eating, but you can only eat soya for so long.
Puzamandla,
yeah, you know what I mean? He took it there.
I'm from that era. Show the value to King Kong Mtombo man.
Yeah, we used to have Puzamandla kuskele.
So there are all those kind of things, NAFSA's late payments and the theft of state, resources through NAFSA's, all those things that we can talk about to say Tinyiko's not living a fine and dandy and rosy existence. That's a lie, right? But when you then say, if we envisage a Tinyiko, especially under Build One South Africa, if I may be as forward as to do that, under Build One South Africa, Tinyiko's parents will have a voucher that will assist in her education. So that even if umntwana ungena isikolo around the corner within a 5-kilometer radius, which is ideal, by the way, because the child doesn't have to wake up extremely early to take a taxi I2 in a transport that is a death coffin on wheels more often than not, and equal, right? And the child can pay attention and focus in class because it's just 5 minutes to and from school. But the mother has that buying power to then say, here is what I'm going to be able to contribute. The school governing body is going to be able to raise funds. There's a fund that is also going to be allocated to each school, and we want public-private partnerships like Curos and your established schools right there in the township, so that umntwana waseTopsenville can have the same kind of education as Dana said, Dane Fern, right? Yes. So that's the first thing, the public-private partnership and the emphasis on education. Magata Imetric Utinyiko is going to have a year's worth of service where they are taught work readiness, varsity readiness, to prepare them for a tertiary institution and the workplace environment, to expose their world to a whole lot of things like coding and different kind of economy of the future. Exactly, so that she can then make an informed decision of what she wants to do, continue, studying or go to a TVET college and do some practical skills, etc. And then the one thing that we have been hopping on and on and on about is a job in every home. We would make sure in Tinyiko's home, there is a job. Mom is working or dad is working, and not just working, not just working menial jobs, but gainful employment that will enable them to provide wholesome meals, to provide good shelter, to provide different kinds of healthcare products for the children to grow up well. So in an ideal world, that is the kind of child we want to rear and to raise in South Africa. And it's possible. Guys, we cannot say we have gold, we have diamond, we have tourist attractions, we have platinum, we have Table Mountain, we have Devon, the sea, we have Devon Gogo. We have Durban Gogo too.
We have Devon Gogo too.
We have all the resources, which is why what pained me at the State of the Nation address is you can't compare us to, we're doing better than this African country there or this kind of country.
It doesn't mean we're where we're supposed to be.
We're not where we're supposed to be. And don't compare and say, no, the whole world is suffering. Even first world countries, developed countries are suffering. Hey, don't compare us with developed countries. Don't compare us with developing countries. Compare us against ourselves and our potential. Our potential, we should be far, guys.
Way far.
We should be far. And that's what pains me.
Look at what we're doing as South Africans outside of South Africa. We're extraordinary. We win everything. We win everything.
Entertainment.
But we're not winning here.
Guys, we're at the top
But
of sports and
the World Cup.
entertainment.
We are at the
The
top.
World Cup,
We're
man.
at the top.
Hey, what do you think about them using the World
Which
Cup
one is
to
this one?
distract us?
No, I sit here in the
no.
And you're wearing a Bafana
This is
jersey.
big on conspiracy theories, I see.
This
proper.
is not,
But I would not put it past them.
Yeah.
Amanya, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is not a. This is
My nigga said
statistics.
Hemanyana.
Every time something happens in this country, something wins. Someone goes out there and wins, and now we must be proud of
And
that
then we
person.
forget about load
We
shedding.
forget.
We're like, yo, see, we
even
need
Banyana, they won in the time of not winning. No matter
You're onto something.
like
Yeah.
Bafana almost won now.
We've been winning so much, we forgot.
How long has
Imagine
it been since
Bafana won.
anything?
Don't-
Right? And we started winning.
Imagine
But we
Bafana
started winning, we
won.
started playing, we started getting everyone back.
Yo,
Right?
Such
We,
a-
we were winning so much, we forgot about Tabo Best. Remember the other day?
Manna.
No!
Senso, man, there's so many cases. Senso Meiwa, aka, it's rough on the news.
When you win, you forget. When you win, you forget your problems.
Which is why, Bazalwane, now, because we're going into elections, we might have a fine and dandy experience. Electricity, I feel like never forget what it's like. Never forget. My sister Ola, me, okay, look, she's afraid of the dark.
Yes.
But the problem-
Never forget.
Never forget.
Never forget.
Never forget. Ukuthi basicimela ama-light.
And you know what the
Basicimela
problem
ama-light.
is? Load shedding, nah, it makes the thing seem more romantic. You
Not when
understand?
girl is afraid of phobia.
when she's afraid of the dark.
When she's afraid of the dark.
Because now it's,
But
I'm
what if-
saying
No,
like,
when
if
she's
you,
afraid of the dark, she wants to
phobia.
go home.
wait, if somebody,
phobia.
okay,
I don't
if,
know what it's called when
someone
you're
is in
afraid
a
of the dark.
platonic friendship and you know, the other
Yeah,
person comes
yeah.
to your house, then you light the candles when the lights go
I am
off.
so sorry, guys. I'm the one who took us down this path. Can we come back from
Okay.
it? Like, I am so sorry. I
All right,
didn't
let's
realize
come back.
where we were going.
We're gonna
I'm
come
just
back.
saying
Bring it back.
But your thing is not
shedding
gonna work.
Nasi yakhona.
You want to romanticize
Yes.
load
No
shedding.
shading. That's not a thing.
That's not a
Nasi
thing.
yakhona.
As black South Africans, or not even black South Africans, sorry for that thing. As South Africans, our thing of having a candle lit anything is different to anyone around the world. Around the world, they can romanticize candle lit.
Yee.
Rona, we know for candle lit, I had to
Necessity.
study by the candle. A candle lit is what we have to use to find things because the power's cut. Candle lit is what you know what I mean? It's
Sometimes it's a trigger.
What leads to a whole informal settlement?
Candle is a
burning
trigger.
down. Yes.
It's a trigger.
A trigger. It could be a trigger. to
It's a
some,
trigger.
yeah.
And the thing about us as South Africans, which I think is a blessing and a curse as well, we are very forgiving, guys. No, we're very forgiving.
Our father said we must forgive.
So
Utata
at
wethu.
least nabo okusalayo, nabo akhshemara. We like those things, guys. I think it's very important. You know, but shame on you if you fool me once. Shame on me if you fool me twice. I don't know.
Hey,
shame
we've been
on
fooled
who.
so many
if
times,
you fool me for 30 years, I don't know. Shame on who?
Shame on all of us.
After chance, 30 years, Bazalwan. Show me what you are saying, but at least this one is getting better. Show me one thing where you say, it's been
But there's
30 years,
other
but at least
people who
this
give
one
a
is getting
chance too.
better.
So
There's other people
I want
who
to
give
know.
a chance too.
Who did we give a chance?
The first skin, man.
No. We didn't give them a chance. They took their chance. That was They,
No, I'm saying even now we're living in a state of oksala. At least I'm alive, you know? I'm
That's
telling you,
sexy.
bro, like,
that first one was taken. The second one
and
was
it's just
chosen.
like, we just chill.
So now we're in a point of our lives where we want to see change. We're all talking change, right? We see it on the social streets. We see it in the conversations that people are having. What attitude do we need to have to instill change, right? That's what I want to know from you. What attitude do we need to instill change? And also, as a young voter, or not even a young voter, as a confused voter, because that's who we are right now as a country. We are all confused voters. We are all people who don't want to vote for this place anymore. We want to go here, or it's our first time registering to vote and we don't know where to go. So what attitude do we need to instill change? And what would you say to a current voter in South Africa and how they should vote?
The attitude that we should have is a sense of ownership. This country is yours as much as it is mine. It's not a country ANC, it's not country of DA, it's not country of EFF, country yakho. So if you can approach these elections with saying, if this was my car or my house, how would I treat it? Because
That's very powerful.
angifuni umuntu nje angene ngecathulo ezinodaka in my car.
Money nje.
Do you know what I mean? It's my car. It's my car. So if we can approach these elections with that sense of ownership, it's my country, right? And I demand that it be run ethically. I demand that we make the most of the resources that we have at our disposal. I demand that you give us the opportunities that we know that this country can give us because it's our country. So this is like your company or your house or your car, etc. Have a sense of ownership. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And hold people to account. Don't say, hi, mare, hey, wonke umuntu uyadla, ne-apartheid government beyidla nayo, bayekeni badle, guys. No. Then to the voter who's going to be voting. Look, I was in government for 2 years. It's true that it's difficult. It's true that it has complexities and it's layered and it's like a huge vessel. I've never been to Oship, but I imagine it's like it's big.
Yeah, it's
and
big.
to try and turn it around is hard.
Angeke ushaye handbrake.
Angeke ushaye handbrake.
Phile njengompopo.
Can't.
Right? So this is a huge thing. It's a huge machine, right?
Yeah.
With interlocking parts, etc. So I want to say to the first-time voter, trust someone who you feel will understand those intricacies. And where they've pushed the wrong button, they'll be able to say, hey, Bazalwane, I pushed the wrong button. Here's how we're going to fix this thing. And let's get some ideas around. Let's get, information also from the bottom up to see how we're going to fix this thing. Who's going to be honest about where we are. Not, we're going to fix it in 2 months.
Yes.
Didn't they say, load shedding is December?
Yay.
Hey.
A collab. So you want someone who's going to be honest, right?
Yes.
You want someone who is going to be accountable.
Yeah.
You want someone who is both willing and able. I use this analogy. Kune load shedding, guys. Ema robotini, tlhagarag, ne? Because now who's coming, etc. Traffic. Then who rises up to save the day?
The
The
paras.
nyawpes.
Paras.
The
They
parents.
stand up because there's a vacuum. And
There's a
nature
gap.
doesn't allow for a vacuum. There will be something that fills it. Whether it's
I like
oxygen
that.
or water or whatever. There's a hole, something will fill it. So they come and,
And
rise.
who are the parents?
and
They are
save
South
the day.
Africans who go.
Precisely. And
And
they're
they're not vehicle owners.
Precisely. But now the danger with that is you have someone who's willing to do this job, but we don't know whether or not they're able. Akana ne code 10 or code 5 unenhliziyo enhle nje ufuna ukusebenza.
Wa-license,
Wa license. Ma ungashayisa uthi bengimamele iphara i-insurance yakho izobhadala.
No.
Because they were not the right people who were. So we have a situation where there's someone who's willing to do the job, but they're not always able to do the job.
Crazy.
It's that situation in government as
Because
well.
we look at it now and we go, by now all those people should have been empowered and ready. When the load shedding schedule hits like this, because we all know when it's going to load shed.
Exactly.
Why don't those empowered paras?
Yar Escoms.
Exactly.
Paras.
So for me, that's what you have in government, especially in the not in government in terms of the actual department, but in the ministerial or the political office. You have times where people are willing to do the job. They want to do it because they know what they benefit from it. But it's a question of ability.
Able.
And then at home, you have hundreds of thousands of people who are able. They're able. You are a chartered
Chilling,
accountant.
waiting.
You are a lawyer. You are a doctor, an engineer. You are a social development worker, whatever. But you say, oh, hi, ipolitiki.
There's zero trust.
Mina angeni kupolitiki, I don't want to. So then you have those who are able, but they are unwilling to serve.
And they don't have the position
Don't have
and
the
the
position.
possibilities
But they have the
to be.
ideas and everything. So vote for those who you feel are both willing to serve, but are also able to serve. We want a democracy that's based on meritocracy. You get there on merit. Because you have what it takes to turn this huge ship around. Knowing what it will take time, but that your agenda is clear. We're turning this thing around. So we spoke about accountability. We spoke about ethics. We speak about ability. And we speak about willingness to serve. So as a voter, those are some of the things you should be looking for the fruit. Not umama mebevotela le, or le party le in a vibe. Or laba
No. You guys laugh, but social media is making us
broke down every
all the parties.
reason and all the parties
Yeah,
and
exactly.
every reason.
I know the vibe one.
We know the vibe
We
one.
know the vibe one.
And the
They
Mama
got the vibe.
Pega Votela le.
But umama bevotela le.
And
So when you're voting, when you're voting, have a sense of ownership. It's my country.
It's mine.
Then you say, if it's my country, how would I want it to be run?
Yeah.
Then you use that criteria to say, these people, do they have 1, 2, and 3? And if you are comfortable that they've got those checks and balances in place, then make your tick.
Are you guys relatable though?
To who?
To us.
Who's us?
South Africa.
South Africa is diverse.
One, I agree with
South
one.
Africa's
I'm
diverse.
saying like your leaders, like
Yeah.
do you think that we look at you guys as people who are relatable?
You know why I think you do? Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. Colored, Indian, black, white, broke, wealthy, etc. We all want to make sure we've got food on the table.
Amen.
You want to make sure you've got clothes on your back, you've got a roof over your head,
Yes.
you've got a way of getting money at the end of the month, that your children can grow up in a safe environment, that you can run if you're a woman like me who's got an abusive relationship with athletics. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off. When you're on the road and you're running, you want to make sure that you can run without feeling like and then and kidnap me.
Yeah.
You want to be safe, right? So we all want those things. You can wake up, do you want money at the end of the month? Do you want food? Do you want clothes? Do you want shelter? She'll say yes.
yeah.
You ask a multimillionaire in Sandton, do you want to make sure that you go to sleep at night and nobody steals your house? Do you want to make sure you've got good food? We all want the same thing. We all want the same thing. And the problem is that we belong to different political parties that tell you, we know how to give it to this group and we know how to give it to that group and that group. And we're saying we want to build one South Africa where there's a model that will benefit everybody. If there are jobs for everyone, if there is food and shelter and safety and security and health and
that's the
education,
mandate.
all of us benefit. Then I don't care if you're saying we don't want to give back the land, etc. If we tell you all the things are taken care of, you'll be like, okay, sure, we can give to this because I know that I'm taken care of. You know what I mean? We all want the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We all want that.
Talking about the things that we all want and the things that we need, I want to know from you, what is your dream for South Africa? What is your dream?
Yes.
What is Ayanda's
man.
dream for South
Look
Africa?
at the camera. Flash. Smile at the camera.
What do I want for South Africa? Apart from what I've just described as this life that Dinyugo will live, and this life where you're safe and secure and you can eat, etc. I strongly believe that the next frontier for South Africa is psychosocial freedom. We've got political emancipation, right? You can vote, you can live wherever you want to live, etc. What we're working on now is economic freedom, right? Employment, jobs, etc. We need to go back to what you said, that psychosocial freedom, where we are free within our minds, within our hearts, within our communities. Silimele, guys.
We are.
Silimele. Silimele, you see it in the rape of innocent children and grandparents. You see it in the way that we talk to each other and treat one another.
Yeah.
You see
Gruesome
it in the
murders.
gruesome murders. Blessa, blessy mentality.
desensitized
We're
also to all these
desensitized.
things.
What we've done to our young boys to make them feel like they're nothing because they can't make it rain in a club. What we've done to our young girls to make them feel like they're commodities and they're only as good as they are light in complexion and the length of their weaves and the size of their reverse. What we've done to our community and what we value now and what we aspire for. The crass culture of consumerism that doesn't give a damn about the next person is a manifestation of our brokenness. And for me, I think real freedom, when it's complete, is political freedom. It's that economic emancipation that we speak of, and then ultimately that psychosocial healing, where we can have Ubuntu in its true essence, where we can go back to letting kids play until Ipsugu, because you know they're probably with Umaki and not dead or kidnapped, right? Where you know, Guti, you can go next door when you don't have something and Makelani will give you something. Right now we hoard because we have a scarcity mentality. I don't know what so I'm not going to give it to you. Right now we can burn down innocent people who come from a foreign country because they are here looking for refuge, looking for a place to stay, looking for a hospital where they can deliver their children. And Tina, we can burn their shops and all those things because silimele. And so the healing that you speak of for the politicians who are in the trenches is the healing that we need as individuals, as a country, as a people. So for me, the vision of the South Africa I have is the one that has the totality of the political freedom, economic freedom, and what I believe is the next frontier, which is psychosocial freedom.
Oh, beautiful words from a beautiful lady. But afloat like a butterfly, sting like a bumblebee. Kiena, Ayanda, ALLIE. Ladies and gentlemen, representing BOSA, Building One South Africa. We usually reserve the last part of the show to shamelessly plug everything, right? Titi's going to say, hey, Bioscope Sunday is here, buy your tickets. And then he's going to say, yeah, for the one-man show, bro, come support me. Then Robert Boy is going to tell us about his More Fire cans and the fact that he's releasing new music, but there's no new music. And then...
Angithi salary pelile manje. That's why we have to build one.
We have to build one. We really have to build one.
Bring back salary, yeah.
And then I'm going to talk about a one-man show or a TV
Bo's
show.
birthday celebration.
That's what we plug at the end. I want to fast forward to you, right? You are part of BOSA. The elections are coming up. This is a pivotal time in South Africa where we have to decide what we want to do to change the landscape of and rather the trajectory of our lives. Why should we vote for BOSA?
I think there's a number of reasons why you should vote for BOSA, but I'm going to speak to one of the reasons that people say, I will not vote for BOSA. And some of them will say, I will not vote for BOSA because, when BOSA transport, so now you are wanting to shout at the president. Or they say, now DA, now he wants to build one South Africa. And I want to use that. So I want to take this opportunity to speak to the naysayers or the detractors and say, I need you to look at the experience that has been gleaned by both myself and him and the many other people who are in this political party. Precisely because I was in government means I know where the skeletons are buried, means I know how to do things differently so we get a different outcome. Precisely because Mmusi Maimane was at the Democratic Alliance means he knows what we need to do to deal with transformation, means he knows how to fight the system from within. You cannot neglect the experience that he's had in politics, in government. You cannot neglect the experience that he's had on the ground. So I would like to say, for those who are skeptical, who are saying, but can we trust you guys? Because Beni, I want to say, use that as the reason why you should vote for us. Because those who are new parties who are only now getting into government, basazobona and still have to learn and adjust and adapt before they can start to implement. Tina, we come with hindsight. We come with experience. We come with an understanding of how to do things differently. So, sbolegi vote yako for this election. And I use that term very importantly. Sbolegi. You don't have to give it to us permanent. Sbolegi. Stutse. Then if you're not happy with it, you can always take it. I need to tell you, what did you say? The thing that he used? Puzamanda. Yeah, so I have to show good to know I'm from. So Stu said, really test us on this, try us on this, and see if we won't give you the outcomes that you need. There are other elections coming up, the local government elections. If you're not happy with what we're doing national, vote differently locally. But I know you won't, but if you need to, try it out. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you don't step out and vote differently and try something different, you never know what the outcome could be. We've already seen the worst of what could happen, right? We've already seen what life is like with no water. Apartheid, definitely, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Then we've already seen what it's like to have no water and no electricity and no jobs. What's the worst that could happen if you vote for us? Vote for us, test us on this, and see if you will not find a different outcome, because it cannot get any worse than what we've had before.
Oh,
Bars.
Lady Ayanda, many over the years have slept on you. They slept on you during your journalistic days.
Yeah.
They slept on you when you were fighting the beast in the belly of the beast. And some of you, and some of them might be sleeping on you now that you are at BOSA. I want to say, on behalf of Popcorn and Cheese, that we are not sleeping on you. So as a token of our appreciation, because we are people from the South, we want to give you this as a token of appreciation. City, many might have slept on you, but we are not sleeping on you.
Yeah.
And we hope
But
the rest of the
will be
country.
sleeping on you.
Yeah.
Sleeping on this pillow, boss.
Yeah. Can I have another pillow? Yeah.
City, hey.
What did he say? I didn't hear that, but I'm glad.
God protecting you. Yes.
Hallelujah.
God and DJ Zinhle were protecting you. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Because you're in a new
Shout
era.
out, honey. Shout out.
Shout out to era.
Ah, man.
Thank you so much.
Yo, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
But
this was so nice.
This was amazing, right?
Yeah,
And I wanted to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
going because I got so many.
Yeah.
We have like 40 questions that we wanted to ask, and we haven't.
We
Please
haven't
can you
even
come back?
gone like.
Zobuya, guys.
Yeah.
After my elections, manning vote.
Yeah.
Zobuya, guys.
Yeah, it's because we want to talk to Masongi.
Whose face is in the booth? Is it yours or?
Musi, please vote for Musi.
Yeah, NTP.
Man vote for Musi, man.
We need different people in that booth, man. Everyone is a middle-aged man.
But our deputy is a woman, and we have so many incredible women in the party. So mvotele uyangivotela.
All right.
I can't laugh at Gopal
Ufuna amalash?
Maybe they should do that.
some sort of
When a man walks in, but hey, pakala mabalo.
creative
see Ayanda.
support. Full picture. Full picture.
Because we've tried the brews, they failed. Then try
Wow,
something
you
else, you know?
guys.
Ah, man, I wanna thank you. You know, not only for honoring the invite and coming to see us today, but I wanna thank you for doing something. Right? You were way above Tintswalo. You were given the opportunity to have a better life, and you chose to pivot and serve people, serve your country, serve your people. Thank you for the amazing work that you've done in your community, Kochaye, you know, because I'm part of the same community as you. But thank you for choosing this. It's such a selfless act to put your neck on the line every single day to fight for what you believe in and to build our country. So for what you're doing for us as a nation, I want to say thank you. And thank you for making that decision. And thank you for coming to hang out with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, dango.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Titi, is there anything you want to plug quickly?
Bro, it's my tour. My tour, national tour. Titi Chume Live in Kobeja on the 19th and 20th of April. And in Gold Reef City in June. And there will be many more dates in between. Very, very excited. And just carry on being good people out there.
Oh, we love that for you. We are happy for you. Mzimbuli, Mzwakimbuli Jr., Robot the Boy.
To Leovich from Namibia for the custom shirt of me and my mom. Shout out to Shoe Pimps SA for the custom kicks. Robot the ×3. Flavortron is out. And new music is out.
We thank the Namibian artist. Next time we will make sure we send you the correct pictures so that you don't put Lillian Dube as Robert's mother. Yeah, man. So, from my side, in Pop-Up's birthday comedy special happening at Empress Palace on the 8th of June. If you want to go and watch live comedy in Johannesburg, there's Comedy at Artistry, which is the restaurant owned by Jay Something in Sandton. It's every Tuesday and every Thursday. Come get your tickets, and on Sundays we have comedy.
Bicycle Sundays,
So, ladies and gentlemen, we were here discussing the state of the nation with the BOSA of BOSA. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only AYANDA ALLIE.
Thank you.
All right. So, from me, the corn that pops.
And the cheese that's great.
We are RoboPops. And just like the ballot papers for the elections, we are out. Yo, shout out Cotton Fest. We came through Pop-Up representing popcorn and cheese. The game started out tough. Had an asthma attack during the game, but my boys were there. They stepped in, clarified, substituted for the boys. Came out. DJ was on the job. My wife threw me the asthma pump. Back in the game in Ghana. 3-point shot. Didn't make it, but it was a 3-point shot. And then, all the way from the walk home, he ran here. He ran here. Yo, man. Alive. Yeah. From the cheese that's great and the corn that pops, we are
And just like this game's W, we are out.
Robopops, awubiza ama-cheese girl nama-cheese boy da. We motivate, then we laugh as well. Stay on brand, never hard to sell. Got real chats, now my LOL. So we both got gang and we blessed as hell. Siyadlala story, petting on my guest, and nice and moy. You want my bundles, not of joy. Said it's some pop-pops and robot boys.
Popcorn and cheese.
Yeah?